the codes of light you carry inside. Anchor a new way of life. Heart-centered being, awareness and seeing. You are out on the leading edge.
Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel Soul Journey. It has been just ages since I have done a video. I have been posting my daily readings, but I haven't really sat down with the camera, made a video. I have been dealing with a lot of stuff emotionally, and it's just been a crazy summer. But John Michael keeps saying, just sit down, make a video. So here I am. I kind of gave myself a little bit of a break. My laptop wasn't working very well, and I just allowed myself not to film. But I just got my laptop. I'm really excited to get back into it. So I thought I'd do something easy and quick just to kind of get the ball rolling. So thank you guys for joining me. I'm super excited to be getting back into this. I have so many ideas, so many videos I want to do. Our life is going to be crazy over the next year, I can tell, in a really good way. And so I do want to document it. So I thought I'd get back on camera and do some videos. So thank you so much for joining me. If you'd like to check out my other social media, the links to that are in the description down below. I have an Instagram where I post daily readings and an Etsy shop. So definitely go over there and check those out if you want a personal reading. Alright, so as the title said, I am doing my current favorite decks and books. So I thought I would just go through those, show you guys what I've been doing for readings in October and September, and just kind of give you guys a feel of what I've been doing. So, for any of you who've been watching my daily readings, you've probably seen some of these decks, but I kind of want to go more in depth as to why I am using them. So the first deck I want to show you guys is the Marielle Tarot. Now, the Marielle Tarot is really interesting. I didn't use it for for client readings at all when I first got it, probably the first year. I think the only person I used it for was actually my friend Marielle, which I thought was kind of funny. But recently, I have actually been using this for my daily readings. Now, I find that this deck usually comes out for me in the fall. It is a very shadow worky deck. There's a lot of magic in this deck, and I am just so in love with this deck. It is absolutely gorgeous. So I really love using this to kind of go completely intuitively in readings. I find that the book that comes with it is kind of the artist kind of took the tarot, are the traditional tarot meanings, but she also kind of came up with her own meanings for it. So if you really want to delve deep into this deck, you can definitely look at that book. You can go like that, but I really love reading this completely intuitively. I do use my known meanings for the cards, but then I also just look at the color. I look at, the feeling it's giving me. I just really go totally in depth. So unlike a lot of my other tarot decks where I will read because I know what the cards mean, I will really just step into the card, and if the meaning that's coming through isn't the traditional meaning that I think it is, I don't go with the traditional. I go with my feeling on it, and it feels so good. I love this deck. It is so deep. It is rich. If you let it speak to you, it will sing you songs of wisdom. Not to be dramatic or anything. Sorry about the rat noise in the back. We have our rats in this room, so they're just drinking some water. So this is the Marielle Tarot. I absolutely love this deck. The cardstock is lovely. It's a powerful deck. It feels very ancient magic, almost shamany kind of a feel, and I absolutely love it. It feels so good. So this is probably the deck I have in the last few weeks been most drawn to read with. But I will show you the other deck that I have been consistently reading with as well. Alright, so the next deck, and probably my most used deck recently, is the Star Child Tarot. I got this from my mom for Christmas last year. It has been an amazing deck. I am super in love with this deck. I am really excited. The creator of this deck is coming out with a new deck called the Moonchild Tarot. I believe that's what it's called. I really want to get this deck. It is even more Egyptian based. It feels so good. It's almost like Egyptian 1920s. Like, I know that sounds like a really weird combination, but it just is amazing. I don't know if it's been officially released yet. I know like the first printing like already sold out, so I'm hoping to get that at some point. But this deck, I just absolutely adore. It really resonates with that whole like, sorry about the rats. I was trying to wait till they were done drinking. They're really beautiful. It really resonates with my star child energy. I really resonate with that lineage, and so this deck is amazing. I don't know if you can tell, but there is sacred geometry in here. There is all kinds of amazing goodies in this deck. I think it is kind of photorealism, but to be honest, compared to a lot of other decks with like real photos in it, this does not. This deck likes to jump all over the place. It doesn't feel like that. It feels more like art. It feels more like modern art, and it's such a yummy deck. It is so gorgeous, and I just love the energy. Ooh, we've got more cards coming out here. I just love the energy of this deck. I feel like this is more of a traditional deck. I definitely read the cards as the traditional meaning. Sometimes I'll go a little bit in depth, but honestly, this deck is more of a traditional. I will say for a beginner, the cards aren't necessarily reflective of the traditional meanings. The only reason I can read this traditionally is because I know the cards so well. And I do like to read this intuitively a little bit, but I wouldn't exactly say if you're trying to learn the like traditional meanings, I wouldn't necessarily suggest this deck because the cards are kind of abstract in the sense of like a lot of the cards I look at that I'm like, I don't really know how that reflects, you know, that energy for that card, but I like the deck so much and I know the cards well enough where I can read it without that being an issue. So I absolutely love this deck. The Knights want to come out today. I wanted to see if I could get you some more of the major arcana. Let's see. Oh, that's lovely. Yeah. So that is the Star Child Tarot. The next two decks are oracle cards, and I've been using these oracle cards for my daily readings, and this one is the Vintage Wisdom Oracle. Now, this is kind of funny because I barely used this deck since I got it. Like, I loved how it looked, but I never really resonated with the book. And when I first got it, first into decks, I really was using the books a lot. That was kind of my thing because I wasn't really versed in the whole intuitive reading thing. And so the book didn't really resonate fully with me. I know other people who it has. I actually got this for my soul twin a few Christmases ago, and she's been adoring this deck as well. But what's funny is I never really use this deck, but I always love the back. I love seeing it on my altar. So I was going through a bunch of my decks and kind of purging them, and I pulled this deck out, and what I had done, I decided to go through each of the decks I decided to purge and like do a quick reading with them so I could decide if I liked their energy, because they were decks I hadn't used in a while, and this one literally jumped out at me and had the most amazing reading. And I was like, oh my gosh, this needs to be one of my main reading decks. And now it is. And what's interesting is I love the art, but I really don't read it according to the art. The art really doesn't have much to do with my reading. I go basically solely on the word on the card. And this has been amazing I'll do readings with this solo. I will do readings with this as kind of like a theme to the reading, but I am just loving this. So I will do full spreads with this, or, you know, supplement tarot spreads with this as well. But I love this deck. It is stunning. Anyone who's interested in like that like 19s, 20s art, pretty sure you'll love this deck. It is amazing, and I am just, oh my gosh, I can't get enough of this deck. So that is the Vintage Wisdom Oracle, and I use that for almost every reading right now. It has been just it just brings so much clarity to the reading, and like I said, I literally can't get enough of this deck. All right, so the next deck is Soul Cards 2. Now, I got Soul Cards 1 in a trade, and I had actually really wanted Soul Cards 2, but I couldn't find it for a trade, so I ended up getting Soul Cards 1, and I have heard that people, or I had heard that people felt that the Soul Cards 1 was a little darker and Soul Cards 2 was a little lighter. Now, since getting Soul Cards 2, I would agree. I find that this deck really resonates with me. I actually don't use Soul Cards 1 that much. I would like to use it now more since I'm so much more into this deck. And I feel like it'd be really good for shadow work. Or a lot of people will mix these two decks. But what's really cool about Soul Cards 2 is there is no guidebook or like words, like, you know, like keywords. It is completely intuitive. And so I really like using this deck specifically as messages from spirit. I go completely intuitively with this. I will do a lot of just like pull a random card and read for a person with this. I will use this as kind of a clarifying, but I specifically see it as a message direct from spirit. Because, you know, Tarot and Oracle is very vibrational. It's very much like, what is your frequency? But I see this as like a direct message from spirit. And I absolutely love this deck. I'm so glad I got it. I was finally able to purchase it. And I am so in love with this deck. The hype is worth it. I had literally been waiting months to buy this. I often don't buy decks online. I will buy them from one of my favorite stores in my old hometown, and so when I finally was able to buy it, they didn't have it, and then like I was able to buy it like a month later, and I was like so in love. So this really has, you know, really been exactly what I thought it was going to be. It's been magic, and I use this in most of my readings. It feels really, really good to me. And I really feel like the colors and the imagery are amazing for intuition. They feel, I don't know, there's just a lot of message coming in. I will say this is a really good deck if you want to work on intuition and like trusting yourself and reading cards intuitively. That this deck is a really fun deck to work with, because you can look at it, you can say like, what are the different colors, are the chakra, what chakras are aligned with it, how does the card make me feel, what does the person feel like they're doing. And honestly, depending on the reading, I will see different aspects in the card and read it differently. Now, I've actually noticed that I read this enough where I'm actually coming up with kind of like my own meanings for cards. Like when a card comes up, like I know what that card means to me, and that's really cool. I have not by any means pulled all the cards. I have been just, you know, going through it and kind of intuitively going at each card when they come up naturally, and that's been feeling really, really good. But I just adore this deck, and the art is just, yummy. It's not necessarily art I would hang on my wall. It definitely can like, not like give me the creeps a little bit, but it's definitely very like intense. But I really like using it, and it really like stirs the intuition, and that's been really fun to work with. So that is Soul Cards 2. For those of you who have been keeping up with like my deck collection and stuff, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen Soul Cards 1. Or maybe not. I think I did my deck collection before I got Soul Cards 1, so maybe not. Alright, and for the last deck, it's kind of interesting that this deck is in here because I actually haven't really been using it that much, but it's been next to all my other decks, and I keep being drawn to use it, but I keep not using it. It's really weird. So this is the Bonefire Tarot, and this was for a while my go-to deck, and I really love it. It has a beautiful energy, but for some reason I have not been drawn to actually use it for readings, but it wants to be around apparently because it literally wants to be in this video, which makes me think that I am probably going to start using it again fairly soon. I really like this deck. It's very unique. It's funny because like the art, I like the art. I wouldn't say it's necessarily my favorite art, but I do love looking at this deck. But what's funny is this deck, like the feeling it has for me, it's the feeling of the deck. I love the shape of the deck. I love the feeling of the deck in my hand. I love reading with it just almost for sensory alone. I know that might be kind of weird. Oh, that's upside down. It just feels good. I just love this deck. I love that it has all of these little symbols all the way around. Each of these symbols actually has a meaning, and in the book it goes into depth of what each of these symbols mean. And it's really fun. I have gotten some really amazing intuitions off this deck, and where like a card will like read one way one day and the next day it's just like it's almost like a completely different card. It is a really yummy deck. I do love it. It's based on traditional tarot. Yeah, it's not. It's based off of traditional tattoos, and I really find that a lot of fun. So yeah, so that is the Bonefire Tarot, and it is just delicious. I'm just gonna pull out one more card here. Yeah, oh god, the Empress, gorgeous. So that is the Bonefire Tarot. Alright, so the other things I wanted to show you were my current reading books, and then also a couple of the books that I've gotten recently that I'm super stoked to read. So first I'll go through the books that I am currently reading. So the first one that I've been reading most consistently is the Be Love Now by Ram Dass. And this book is amazing. Let's see if I can just lay you down here like this. This book has been really beautiful. This is, for any of you who know Ram Dass, he was the one who wrote Be Here Now. And a lot of people find that book just amazing. I honestly have a really hard time. I think it's because I'm like semi-dyslexic. I find that book impossible to read, like literally impossible to read. For any of you who've seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The words are all like all over the page. It's very weird. The messages though are very interesting. I really want to get it on like on audio tape so I could just listen to it. But Be Love Now is about his journey, like his actual story, and this has been amazing, you know, like with meeting the Maharaji and all this, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm going through it. I think I've gotten about a quarter of the way through it. It's been really lovely. The foreword by Rameshwar Das was really, really lovely as well, and I'm just really loving just like going through this. I got this book at Omega. I was really drawn to get it while I was there, and it has not disappointed. I've been really, really enjoying this. So I highly recommend Be Love Now by Ram Dass. The next one is another book I actually got from Omega, and this is Mala of the Heart, 108 Sacred Poems. And I have really been enjoying this. I'll flip to a random page, and they're just like poems from like really like wise people. Just like makes you kind of think. As an example, like this one, like, only that illuminated one who keeps seducing the formless into form had the charm to win my heart. Only a perfect one who is always laughing at the word too can make you know of love. Like it's just, some of these, like, you really have to sit with, and it really just, but they're just beautiful. The words are beautiful. Know the true nature of your beloved. In his loving eyes, your every thought, word, and movement is always, always beautiful. Like, that's just lovely. And so it's been really good. I've been working with mala beads and chants and mantras a lot more recently. So this really just like drew me in. I don't necessarily use it with mala, but I really, really love it. And it's just a beautiful little book. I highly recommend it. It would be a great like coffee table book. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that. The next book I got from one of my favorite witchy shops. It's called, ooh, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. It's a big book. It's one of my favorite witchy shops. It's called Deadwick's, and it's in New Hampshire. And this is the complete, let's see, the complete formulary of magical oils. Llewellyn's complete formulary. Formulary? Is that really what it is? Okay, anyway. This is over 1,200 recipes of potions and tinctures for everyday use. Now, this has a lot to do with oils, and I am just loving this book. I haven't actually made any of the oils yet, but the guy who owns the shop, and he owns a bunch of the shops in Portsmouth, so this is one of his favorite books. It's amazing. He is actually an herbalist. He does all kinds of stuff like this. he says this is great for beginners. I will actually be creating some oils that will be in the Etsy shop at some point, so stay tuned for that. If you want to check out my shop right now, the link to that is in the description down below. It's Soul Journey Magics. But anyway, I'm loving going through this and just like looking at the energies. I've been writing down ones I want to try out. I just have to get really good oils so that I can really start creating them. So basically the idea is that these are vibrational oils. So you do not eat these. You do not like take them internally. They are basically, you put them on your body to bring that frequency into your space. And I am just super, super excited. This is by Celeste Ryan Herldstab. That's a really intense name. I kind of love it. But anyway, I'm really enjoying going through this book, and I will definitely let you guys know when I start making the oils how I feel about that. But I'm just really loving like the format. It's literally just like lists of like, so like there's different sections. Like there's like luck and legal, sabbats and rituals. Let's see, love, attraction, and sex. Like there's so many, and they just go down. There's more money oil, 9 Indian fruits oil, oak moss, okay, snake oil, soothing waters oil, spirit music, goddess love oil, he's mine oil, heavenly nights oil. And it's cool. It tells you exactly what it's for and then just exactly like the parts. And it's so cool. And I'm really enjoying going through it and exploring. And they have a whole section on how to, you know, how to use oils properly and all of this cool stuff. So I'm really enjoying that. And that's been fun to explore. The next two books, one I started and I'm really enjoying and I want to keep going through. And the other one I've literally gotten like the first couple pages, but I am so excited to delve into this book. But anyway, the first one is The Chakras. Now, what's interesting about this book is it was written like in the early 1900s. And I find this fascinating because I'm amazed at how much they know, for one. I know it was like the spiritualist movement, and so they were really into that. But what I found very interesting was there were certain aspects that were so reminiscent of the time, it was crazy. And that is the fact that they have 7 chakras, but they don't have the sacral chakra. They have, it's like the spleen chakra or something like that. It's this one that's like over to the side for like some random reason. But basically on that page talking about that chakra, let me see if I can find it here. I found this really interesting. Where is it? Yeah, on this page. See how the second chakra is way up here, and then it's the third, fourth, and it's like, what is that? And then they have the list here, and now they've been researching the, you know, the Eastern philosophies, but they go to this, the spleen chakra, and they don't have a name, the Sanskrit name for it, right here. And so down here, they say the spleen chakra, down here, the spleen chakra is not indicated in the Indian books. Its place is taken by the sacral chakra. They have the long name here. I can't pronounce that. Situated in the neighborhood of the generative organs, to which the same 6 petals are assigned. Wow, both rats are drinking water. That's amazing. From our point of view, the arousing of such a center would be regarded as a misfortune, as there are serious dangers connected with it. In the Egyptian scheme of development, elaborate precautions were taken to prevent such awakening. Now, I don't necessarily agree that the Egyptians were doing that. I have my own feelings, but I found that fascinating because basically they were saying the sacral chakra was dangerous, which if you know like early 1900s, that makes complete sense. And I found that super interesting. So it's kind of interesting because I do want to read it and like get a lot of information, but you know, considering they're like completely rejecting one of the chakras, like I want to just see like how this goes about and like if it resonates or whatever. But we will definitely, I definitely want to keep reading this. It looks really, really fascinating. So that's The Chakras by C.W. Leadbeater, and I just found that really interesting. The next one, which I am so excited to delve into, and I've only literally gotten a few pages in, but I just wanted to show you guys because I think this is going to be an amazing book. This is Tao Tantric Arts for Women. And I got this at Omega, and this book is literally about tantric energy for women, like for themselves. There are some sexual images in this book, so just be aware of that. but it literally goes through the body parts. It goes through different, like, I think there's Qigong in here. There's so many amazing things, and I'm so excited to delve into this. Yoni sunbathing, love that. I'm so excited to delve into this book. It looks amazing. I just haven't had a chance to get into it yet, but I'm super excited. So this is one of those books that I have, but I'm so excited to get into. So that's Tao Tantric Arts for Women. I'd highly recommend it, even though I haven't started reading it yet. It looks so delicious and yummy. So if you guys are interested in delving into that energy, I feel like this book is really good. Just intuitively, I'm really feeling good about it. So this next book here, my mom actually got for me. I'm super excited. This is called Mutant Message Down Under. And this book, my mom was telling me about it. I haven't started it yet, but this is about a woman's journey into the bush in Australia. As you guys know, I'm obsessed with Australia. I lived there for a while. But this is about her experience with the indigenous people and their energy work and their healing and how, like, basically they're magic. And a lot of people don't believe this book is, you know, true. Like, they think it's fiction. Personally, knowing how energy works and indigenous the indigenous people, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is probably completely accurate. I am super excited to delve into this book. Like I said, I haven't had time to get to all of these, but I just wanted to show you guys because my mom has read it and said it was absolutely phenomenal. And she literally bought it for me so I could read it. So I am super excited. So that's awesome. And then this last book was really funny. I was in my town at the library. Mind you, I live in an area where there are pockets of, like, spiritual people, but it's New England tends to be very Christian-y. So there aren't a lot of people who are, like, into, you know, spiritualism. And I was at the library and they were doing a book sale, and they were just, like, the typical, like, normal random books. And then this book caught my eye because, of course, I have Horus, and this is Initiation. And on the back, it basically talks about, this is about her past life, being initiated into the, the secret echelons of Egyptian culture. This is a true story. She wrote her experience, about her experience in this life, but also her connections to past lives and stuff like this. I am so freaking excited. I feel like I'm not even explaining it that well. I'll read this. Written at the request of her advanced students, Initiation is an illuminating autobiography that connects the 20th century European life of internationally beloved teacher Elizabeth H. with her lucid memories of initiation into the hidden mystical teachings of the priesthood in ancient Egypt. A compelling story within a story emerges, detailing the life experiences that catalyzed her spiritual path. I am so excited to read this. So when I get to that, I will definitely let you know how I feel about it. So that's it, you guys. Those are all the books that I'm currently reading and looking to read, and then all of my decks. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please comment down below if you enjoyed it, and if you have any decks you want me to review, I would love to get to those. If you'd like to check out my other social media, those links are down in the description down below. Like I said, I have an Etsy shop, I have an Instagram, I have a Facebook, and I do have a Patreon if you would like to support my video making. You guys are amazing. I'm so glad to be back. Thank you so much for sticking with me along this ride. I'll definitely detail more of what's been going on. I have so much I want to get into. So I love you guys so much. Many blessings. And don't forget, it's all about the soul journey. Bye.